On today's show, Luka Doncic should be MVP. I'm going to tell you why on today's Locked On Mavs.
I'm Luka Doncic, and this is Locked On Mavericks.
Mavericks, NBA champions. Bang! It's good, and the Mavericks have won the game.
If you don't believe, you shouldn't be here.
Loyalty never fades away.
Welcome. You are locked on to the Dallas Mavericks. My name is Nick Angstadt, media member and NBA channel manager for the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Thanks for being part of the show and making Locked On Mavs your first listen every day. Where the best way you can help us grow the show is to listen every day, leave a 5-star review, like the video on YouTube, and comment anything below. Let me know in the comment section, what's one reason Luka should be MVP? In the conversation below, let me know in the comments. Today's episode is brought to you by LinkedIn Jobs. They help you find the qualified candidates you want to talk to faster. Post your job for free at linkedin.com/LockedOnNBA. That's linkedin.com/LockedOnNBA to post your job for free. Terms and conditions apply. Today, Luka should be MVP. I haven't talked about it yet. I wanted to wait till after the All-Star break. I like to give it some time. I'm not Matt Moore. I'm not doing the whole MVP thing all the way through the season. Love you, Matt Moore. Saw him this weekend at All-Star. I'm not doing the MVP thing until after the All-Star break. So here we are. And I think Luka should be the MVP. I'm going to tell you why. I'm going to give his All-Star case. And then I'm going to go through how he stacks up against everybody else. There's basically only 3 other candidates that are kind of in the conversation right now. And then I'm going to debunk all the reasons why he shouldn't be MVP. I got him. I can hear you. I've got all the reasons why he shouldn't be MVP. And I'm going to tell you why I'm going to debunk all of those on today's show. But let's start here. MVP, most valuable player. If you're just going to take it for what it is, it has become best player on best team a lot of the time. So Jason Tatum gets in that conversation this season. You know, should Anthony Edwards get in that conversation? Donovan Mitchell is going to get some votes here and there. Like best player on best team. Those are the top 3 teams record-wise right now. To me, that has always been a weird way for us to do MVP. For the most valuable player, who's bringing the most value to their team? Who's doing the hardest thing? Who is taking a team that has not been good, has not been healthy, and is making them good or decent? And that's Luka Doncic. That's what he's doing right now. Luka Doncic should be MVP. He's number 1 in the league in points. Embiid is not going to qualify for that as a leader, and so he's going to be number 1 in points. After Embiid, he's just not going to qualify for MVP. So we completely take Embiid out of this entire conversation. That's one candidate just completely out because of the new games rule. You have to play 65 games. Embiid does not look like he's going to get there. Actually, I think he's not there right now. He's number 1 in points. He'll be number 3 in assists. He'd be number 2 without Halliburton. Halliburton may miss the games mark too. And if he misses that, then all of a sudden Luka is first in the NBA in points, second in the NBA in assists. He's also top 20 in rebounds if you take out all the players that aren't going to make it because of games played. All of a sudden, Luka is adding a lot to his team and what his team does. Now, if you look at Luka's scoring and you're, all right, well, he's got the ball all the time. Luka he's a free throw merchant. All he does is just give free throws. He's number 1 in points per game without free throws. That includes Embiid. Take out free throws made. Take out free throws in general. Luka is scoring 26.9 points per game off of non-free throw shots. Embiid, 24.8, so he's 2 points per game less than Luka, even though he's averaging more points technically. Giannis is at 23.6. That's a 3-point difference between Luka and him. And Curry's averaging 23.3. SGA's averaging 23.1. Again, another like 3, almost 4-point difference between them. Luka is doing the hardest thing. You look at all the teams. You look at the health of all the teams. Luka is doing the hardest thing right now, bringing the most value to his team. Luka doubled the most out of anybody in the NBA by far. He gets the most double teams. He sees the most double coverages. He sees all that stuff, and he's still leading the league in scoring without even going to the free throw line all that much. You and I could get into a conversation about how the refs don't give him a good whistle and all that. Like, oh, imagine if he got Austin Reeves' whistle or Embiid's whistle or whatever. We could say that, but he's not. So I'm not going to say that the refs don't treat Luka right and that should be a reason for his MVP candidate. I would not say that. No, I would not. I would not come on here and say he's doing the hardest thing because the refs don't respect him and he doesn't get the calls that he deserves. And so what he's scoring and how he's scoring is actually more impressive than if he did get those calls. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying it at all. But Luka is doing such an impressive thing with this team. Kyrie's missed 22 games. He missed almost half the season so far. You take Kyrie off of the Mavericks without Kyrie are way worse than all the other teams mentioned, or all the other teams that we're going to talk about without their second best player. The Nuggets, the Thunder, the Bucks. Those are the three teams that have players that could win MVP, and we'll talk about some of those. But I'm just giving Luka's case. Leading the league in scoring, going to be second in assists, top 20 in rebounds if you take all the games played and all that. He's doing it ethically because he's not getting to the free throw line all that much. He's had 28 games with 20-point double-doubles. That's fifth in the NBA. 15 games with 35-point double-doubles. That's tied for second in the NBA. So he's racking up numbers like nobody else basically in the league. By the way, 15 games with 35 double-doubles. That's either 10 assists or 10 rebounds with the 35 points. He's tied for second. Giannis has 16. Embiid and Luka have 15. Games with 35 points and either 10 rebounds or 10 assists. He's doing things that, like, Shea's not on that list. And Jokic is not even on that. That's insane to me. Insane. The Mavericks with Luka playing are at a 51 win pace. It's pretty good. 3-5 without him. Hard for them to win games without him. He's also had the MVP moments too. When you look across MVP, you've got to look across what the narrative is of this player and of what they're bringing to the table. One of Luka's big things that I think is going to help him, they're 15-5 in clutch games when Luka plays. The Mavs are the best clutch team in the NBA right now as far as winning in clutch games. Clutch games are the scores within 5 with 5 minutes to go or less. He's right there. He's got that. He is winning in clutch. He's doing the hardest thing and winning in the clutch, which is one of the hardest things in the NBA, is to win late games. All the scoring is all up. Luka is shooting an insane percentage in the clutch. 47% from the field, 40% from three, 84% from the line in the clutch. He's doing it at the biggest moments. He's got those MVP moments. The clutch, we just mentioned it. Another one, a 73-point game. For as much as that could be a detractor for a lot of people, as much as the conversation around Luka's 73-point game was, it's just so easy for these guys to score. And, I averaged 5 points a game in my career, but it's just so easy to score. Anti-shout out Kendrick Perkins. He's got the 73-point game, one of the signature games. He's got the 50-point, 15-assist game on Christmas when he beat the Suns. A win that now looks a lot better, that the Suns have perked up like the Mavs and they've gotten better, played better. 50 points on Christmas. And don't forget, he's got that 49-point game against the Nets when he hit the Luka Doncic flick, the shot from the sideline that was just this wild, insane game winner. He's got the MVP moments, and there's still a lot of games left to be played. And that's the thing with Luka. He's got some more time left. I don't think he's in pole position right now for the MVP. This is his case. I just gave his case. All those things. Mavericks have been pretty good with him. They've been bad without him. They've been, he's leading the league. He's putting up numbers like nobody else is. He's winning in the clutch. The Mavericks are winning in the clutch. He's their entire offense basically in the clutch when it comes down to it. He's got the MVP moments. This is Luka's case. He's got a really good case to win MVP. He's right there with them. The problem is he's not in pole position yet because I don't think the voters are going to look at all this stuff and say, well, but they still have a 58% winning percentage, and the Nuggets have 65, and the Thunder at 68, and the Bucks are at 62. So they're just winning games at a higher percentage than what the Mavericks are. They're all in a different class than what the Mavericks are. It's kind of the point. That's kind of my point. Luka is dragging a team up when these other teams are all just winning at a higher level. And that's fine. They're doing it as a team. They've been good teams this season. But Luka is the one carrying his team to this. Without Kyrie. Kyrie has missed 22 games. Jamal Murray has missed 14. That's something. But Kyrie has missed 22 games. Exum, who's a starter, has missed 22 games. Derek Lively, Mavs' third best player for a long time this season, has missed 18 games. Nobody else has missed that many games on all the other teams with all the other MVP candidates. Luka should win MVP. That's his case. Let's talk about how he stacks up against some of the rest of the players across the NBA. The three players I think that are his biggest competition, Jokic, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, and Giannis. Let's talk about them and more coming up. Today's episode is brought to you by LinkedIn. LinkedIn Jobs helps you find the qualified candidates you want to talk to faster. If you're listening to this, I really appreciate you. Go to LinkedIn.com/LockedOnNBA. Just go do it. Everyone that's listening to this, go to that URL. LinkedIn.com/LockedOnNBA. Check it out for yourself. See what you have. It's not just another job board. LinkedIn has a vast network of more than 1 billion professionals, which makes it the best place to hire. It gives you access to professionals you can't find anywhere else. If you're a hiring manager and you hire, go to LinkedIn.com/LockedOnNBA. Even if you're not, go to LinkedIn.com/LockedOnNBA. It'll help me out. Really will. Would really appreciate if all of you right now went to LinkedIn.com/LockedOnNBA. LinkedIn.com/LockedOnNBA to post your job for free. You could do it. LinkedIn, they know small businesses, and they're wearing so many hats that they know you're wearing so many hats that you may not have time to put resources into hiring. So LinkedIn will help you with that. That job board will help you out. Go to LinkedIn.com/LockedOnNBA. Again, LinkedIn.com/LockedOnNBA to post your job for free. Terms and conditions, they do apply.
Uh-oh, guess what day it is? Guess what day it is, huh? Anybody?
Thanks, everybody, for hanging out with us on Locked On Mavs, being part of the show, part of the Raccoon Squad, listening every day. We appreciate each and every one of you for sticking with us and for hanging out. Thanks for everybody that commented, liked, watched any of the stuff that I did over All-Star break. I did 2 episodes in Indianapolis. I went. It was a great time. I had some fun, so go check that out. I posted a bunch of shorts as well. Shout out to all the subtexters who helped me get there. Subscribe to Subtext if you want extra content and all that kind of stuff. I did a mailbag while I was in Indianapolis. All right, Isaac, let's get into the competition for Luka for MVP. ESPN did a straw poll right before the All-Star break, and they looked at who are the players right now. And there's a lot of voters that voted on this. Who are the players right now that should be at the top of the MVP ballot? Jokic was number 1. SGA, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander was number 2. Giannis was number 3, and Luka was number 4. 5 was Kawhi Leonard. 6, Jason Tatum. 7, Jalen Brunson. 8, Donovan Mitchell. 9, Anthony Edwards. 10, Kevin Durant. Tied for 11th, Halliburton and Sabonis, which is hilarious because they got traded for each other. Luka's in the top 4. Jokic number 1 right now. And if you start to look across the board, you're like, all right, how does Luka stack up to these guys? This is tough. This is weird to say. Jokic and Giannis have already won 2. Are they going to give him a third? They've each got 1 title. You want 3 MVPs and 1 title for each of them? I don't know that voters are going to look at these guys and say, you know what? Let's give them a third one. You know, it's only been done by like Magic, Bird, Moses Malone, some of the greatest players of all time. But let's give it to Giannis and Jokic. They might look at that. But I think that's a detractor from those guys instead of a, you know what, they've won it before. They should win it again. I think that's a positive in Luka's favor if we're looking at who could actually win it. But the team's success has to go behind it. Like it has to be like Luka's team. The team has to be a little bit better than they are right now. I think as it is right now, I don't think that Luka will win MVP. He's 4th in this straw poll, so he's not even getting close right now. You look at the Basketball Reference tracker, that just goes by statistics. Jokic is 1, SGA is 2, Luka is 3, and Giannis is 4. So Luka takes a step forward in that one. That's just based on statistics and what past MVPs look like compared to current seasons and all that. But if you take a look across the board, Luka's averaging more points than Giannis, Shai, and Jokic. He's averaging more assists than all of them. He's shooting a better percentage from 3. And his team is worse. The team around him is worse. Kyrie has missed a bunch of games, and without Kyrie, the team that Luka is dragging to this winning percentage is different than the one that Jokic, SGA, and Giannis is. That's going to be my main thing this whole time. He's doing the harder thing. SGA doesn't get doubled as much as Luka does. Giannis doesn't get doubled as much as Luka does. Jokic doesn't get doubled as much as Luka does. Every single one of them, like Luka has the leg up in that sense that I think he's doing the harder thing. And some of it is because of size. Like those guys are 7-footers. It's kind of hard in today's NBA to double 7-footers and make it worth your while. They try with Luka, and it's not really worth their while to do it either. He's doing the harder thing. He stacks up against these guys. And I think with Embiid out, these are the 4 guys that have the chance to win MVP. Luka, Giannis, SGA, and Jokic. 2 of them already have 2. SGA, it feels like a little too early, and the team around him is dang good. Like they have a lot of good players that are playing around him. And it feels like, the young guys all kind of come up together. He is definitely the best one of those. And he's been really great. He's starting the All-Star game. He should be first team All-NBA. Should be all that. I don't know that SGA has the moments either. What are SGA's MVP moments so far this season? Does he have them? He doesn't really have those games where he goes off. I was talking to a lot of the Thunder guys, Locked On Thunder host Rylan Stiles and Nick Crane and some of the Thunder guys this weekend. And he did SGA just doesn't take enough shots to have some of these big games. The Luka 73-point game, the Luka 50-point game on Christmas. SGA's season high in scoring this season is 43. That's also PJ Washington's season high this season. Now it's different. His team is winning. He doesn't have to carry as much. Wait, what? His team is winning, so he doesn't have to carry as much, so he doesn't have to do as much. They're not as reliant on his scoring. Oh, Luka's more valuable than SGA is. Make the case. That's the case right there. He doesn't have to take as many shots. He doesn't have to do as much for his team. Okay. I think that's the case. And so I think that he stacks up well against SGA in that regard. I think Luka's doing a harder thing than what SGA is. I think that the Jokic and Giannis thing with those two guys winning 2 MVPs already, I think that's a positive in Luka's favor at the end of the day. Now let's start going through some of the reasons not to pick Luka. Team success. This is the big one. Let's focus on this one for a second. Yes, the Mavericks are 32-23. The Nuggets have 4 more wins. The Thunder have 5 more wins, and the Bucks have 3 more wins. Would it be a lot easier to make the case if Luka's team was in the same echelon as those 3 teams? Yes, it would be. My problem is it's only like a 3-4 game difference between them. And there's precedent. Jokic's second year winning MVP, they had almost the exact same winning percentage as what the Mavericks do now. I think they were 5th in the West, and they were had a 58% winning percentage. That's what the Mavericks have right now. The Mavericks just ratcheted up a little bit and are better to end the season than they were to begin the season, which is what we expect them to do with Kyrie coming back and or being back healthy, and with the 2 new additions and Lively being back and all that. We think they're going to be better to end the season. They have to be. If Luka's actually going to win this, and it's not just me trying to make the case, if they're actually going to win this, they have to be better as a team. It just comes with it. But there's precedent. The Russell Westbrook team, when Russell Westbrook won MVP, it was because of his triple-double, because of all that. Westbrook's team was not destroying the league. They were 47-35. They were 47-35, which is a 57% winning percentage, which is lower than what the Mavericks have right now. They won less games than what the Mavericks are right now. So are you holding against Luka that the West is just really stacked this season? They probably will. They'll probably hold it against him. But I think he's got a good case with it. And okay, so team success. The Mavericks have to be a little bit better in order for Luka to actually get there. But there is precedent with Jokic and with Westbrook in the past that teams that have won the amount of games the Mavericks are winning currently right now, if they just are 500 the rest of the season, there is a precedent for those types of teams having an MVP on the team, especially if they're carrying as much as Jokic was on that team. Remember, Jamal Murray was injured for a lot of the year. On that Westbrook team, remember, Kevin Durant was gone. It was just him carrying a team. It's like what Luka's doing right now, carrying this team. The Mavericks desperately need Luka to score 35 points in a game. When Luka scores over 40 points, the Mavericks are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7-0 when he scores over 40 points. He's had an insane season. Luka has played 47 games. He's scored under 23 points 1, 2, 3, 4 times. It's an insane season he's having. It should be an MVP season. He's been playing that good. The team success they have to be a little bit better in order for him to actually win. But I think right now he's been good enough to be considered an MVP. So coming up, let's talk about some of these other reasons. Is there someone more deserving? What about his defense? All he does is just hog the ball. Talk about that and more coming up. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. FanDuel has you covered with all the best props and odds. Get buckets with your first bet on FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. New customers get $150 in bonus bets with any winning $5 money line bet. I've been checking out. Let's check out these MVP odds. They got to have awards on here. Okay, FanDuel's a little bit smarter. Jokic is -120. That one makes sense. Jokic is a tough one that Luka, he's going to have, that's his competition. It's his buddy in the All-Star game, but competition for him. SGA is plus 210. That was interesting. Luka's plus 700. And then Giannis plus 1,000, so he's got a little bit of distance there. And then Tatum plus 2,900. Kawhi plus 7,500. So that's a long shot for both of those guys. The top four that we've been talking about is the top four according to FanDuel as well. Go to FanDuel.com/lockedon. And if you put $5 down on any bet and you win, you get $150 in bonus bets. Visit FanDuel.com/lockedon. Shoot your shot. FanDuel, official sportsbook partner of the NBA. All right, Isaac, let's get into some more reasons why Luka shouldn't win MVP. I've got a couple more here. We talked about team success. Do you think the Mavericks have to be a little better for Luka to win the MVP? Is there someone more deserving? It's kind of hard to say. Jokic is having an amazing season, or he's having a really good season. I don't even know if I'm saying amazing because he's just having a normal Jokic season. 26 points, 12 boards, about 9 assists. He's shooting okay. His team's doing pretty well. Joel Murray has missed some games. Team's still good. Feel like they're coasting a little bit, but that's what they do. He's having a really good season. Jokic may be more deserving. That's the one that I am really worried about. Giannis, 30 points, 11 boards, 6 assists. His team is playing better than what Luka's is is playing better record-wise, but not by much. The Bucks are 35-21. The Mavericks are 32-23. That's like a 3-game difference. That's not a big gap. That can change in the course of literally a week and a half. It can be completely different. Where all of a sudden we look at, oh man, the Mavs have a better record than the Bucks. Then what's your case? Well, Giannis plays defense. Okay. Well, his team is not necessarily playing defense. That's been the problem with all of them. They went through a coaching change in the middle of the season. Do voters hold that against Giannis? Bucks are 19th in defense right now. The Mavericks are 18th. They have the same defense. Their offense is actually about the same too, 120 and 119. Bucks is actually 0.9 points better than the Mavericks. But Giannis is having a good season. But the turmoil of what they're going through, is anybody going to hold that against Giannis? Maybe, maybe not. SGA is having a really good season too. 53 games he's played. 31 points, 5 rebounds, 6 assists, leading the league with 2.2 steals per game as well. Defensively, he's been very good. Him and Giannis have that as a case for them again over Luka in how much they impact the game on their defense as well. I could hear that argument. He's shooting the ball pretty well. He is doing a lot for his team. But is there someone more deserving? I don't know. I think Luka's still doing the harder thing. Luka's team is better in the clutch than all these other teams. Than the Nuggets, than the Thunder, than the Bucks, than anybody. Team has been better in the clutch, better in harder moments. Luka's been doubled more. I think he stacks up pretty well. On the defense front, yes, SGA and Giannis are positive defenders. They've been really good defenders. Is that something that should Luka plays terrible defense. Should that hold him back? His defense has been solid this season. I don't think that's something where you could look at and be like, oh, he's a traffic cone. How could he be MVP if he's such a traffic cone? He's not been that this season. He's not. He's been a solid defender, and he'll be good in a team scheme and all that. Same as Jokic. Luka's defense has been on par with what Jokic has in his MVP seasons. So if that was a reason to not pick Jokic, sure didn't work. And so I think Luka's defense is not a detractor for him anymore. It's maybe more of a plus for SGA and Giannis than it is, than a minus for Luka right now, but it's not a minus for Luka, I don't think, right now. The other thing, all Luka does is hold the ball and ball hog. Did you know that Luka's usage is actually down from last season and down from 2 seasons ago? Luka's usage percentage 2 seasons ago, the amount of times that he held onto the ball or had the ball and made the pass, or he was the one that actually set up the finishing play basically, was about 39% 2 years ago. 37% last year and down to 35% this season. His usage is down. It's lower than Embiid's is right now. Second in the NBA, but it's still lower than what Embiid's is and lower than it was last year. Luka's not holding on to the ball as much. He's doing more kicking out. He's being a better teammate in the fact that he's kicking out to the outlet passes and letting Kyrie do some things here and there. He's taken a step back. He's also taking a step back in threes, which he's hit and taken way more step back threes than anybody else. Again, Luka doing the harder thing. But his usage is down. So he's not holding on to the he's not carrying the ball as much as he has in the past. And yet his numbers are up. Numbers are up. Usage is down. Team's good in the clutch. Luka's got a really good case to be MVP. And you love to see it. You love to see what he's doing right now. You love to see the type of season that he's had. He's had those MVP moments. Remember the number one in clutch, 73-point game, 50-point game, 5 assists on Christmas in the win against the Suns. He had the 49-point game with the game-winning flick shot against the Nets. And I think you could count the Thunder win, the afternoon game where the Mavericks just destroyed the Thunder with the new players on the roster. I think that was probably a signature type win. Second best team in the West, and you just destroy them after getting these new players. Let's look ahead with Luka. He's got some more opportunities to make a case for himself for MVP. Today or tomorrow, Thursday, whenever you listen to this, Thursday, February 22nd, Suns on TNT. Huge moment. Can have the tiebreaker. If you win, you get the tiebreaker against the Suns. You can take down the Suns again. You scored 50 against them on Christmas. If you repeat something like that and has just an insane game, or it's a game winner, whatever, that could be a huge MVP moment. One of the first games back from All-Star break on TNT, national stage, all that. This is a massive moment for Luka to really kick his MVP candidacy into gear. So you got that game. March 1st, Friday, ESPN game against Boston, at Boston. Go to Boston. You beat the Celtics. You have an incredible game. Nobody can guard you. Like all of that. Beat Porzingis. I don't know if that's something that he cares about, but you do that, that's an opportunity for you to take a step forward for sure. Thursday, March 14th in Oklahoma City on TNT. Another one. All these national TV games. He's got a chance. If you beat the Thunder again, you beat the Thunder that you don't get the tiebreaker just yet. You got one more game against them. But you beat them again. Luka goes off, has a big moment on TNT. Again, another national TV game where Luka could be the center of the conversation. 3 days later, he rose. No, he went back home and played the Nuggets on ABC. National TV game on Sunday, afternoon game, kind of a weird start time. You beat the Nuggets then, Jokic head-to-head. Awesome opportunity for Luka to kickstart or to continue his MVP case. That's just in the next month. In the next month, he's got the Suns on TNT, you've got the Celtics on ESPN, you've got the Thunder on TNT, and you've got the Nuggets on ABC. Those are huge opportunities for Luka to kickstart his MVP candidacy. And then you've also got another TNT game against Miami, an ESPN game against Miami to end the season, and you end the season, the regular season, at the Thunder, Sunday, April 14th. The Thunder may not need that game, but they may need it. And if they win that game, that's your last chance, because the playoffs don't matter for MVP. That's your last chance to make a really good case that, hey, instead of this guy SGA, I can beat him head to head, and I'm better than him, and my team's going to beat him, and we're going to end the season really well. The team success is going to match up to what Luka's success has been this season and what he's contributed. I've done the hardest thing. My team is great in the clutch, and I should be the MVP. That's what Luka can do in these next 2 months, basically. Luka, you've got 2 months to solidify your case. This is your best chance so far to win MVP, I think. Luka's best chance to win MVP, his best case so far. I think that the team's got to be better, and I think that he's got these opportunities that he can take. He's been 8th, 5th, 6th, and 4th in MVP in his career. This is his chance to get first. This is the big one. Will he care about it? I don't know. But maybe if the Mavericks win a ton of games, then the season, his numbers will stay around where they are, and the Mavericks will just have a better record than some of these teams, and that would be amazing too. Redemption from last year, the narrative follows it. The narrative of MVP is huge too, but all that matters. There you go. That's why Luka should win MVP. That's what he has to do to win MVP. Let us know in the comment section what's one reason why he should. Slightly biased, and I will be back tomorrow to cover the Suns game. I'm really excited about that one. And then we may have an episode on Friday as well. I'll have to check out on that. And then Sunday, after the Pacers game, I'll have an episode for you on there as well. And we'll just continue as Luka makes his MVP push, as the Mavericks make their push to end the season. Guys, thanks so much for listening to Locked On Mavs.
Peace out.
Boom!